The U.S. Soccer Development Academy welcomes you to Frisco, Texas and Toyota Soccer Park, where FC Golden State is getting set to take on the Capital Area RailHawks CASL in the first of the U-13-14 showcase. This is a showcase. 92 of the 96 Academy teams are here in Frisco, Texas, and they will be playing a combined 138 games over the next 4 days. And we will be bringing you those games every single day. As coming up, we have a triple header tonight. After this, FC Dallas plays the LA Galaxy, and then in the nightcap, Houston takes on the New York Red Bulls. But for now, it's all about FC Golden State representing the Southwest Division against Capital Area RailHawks CASL from the South Atlantic Division. The U.S. Soccer Development Academy, founded in 2007 with the idea to increase training and have less but more meaningful games against a higher class opponent. And it's done absolutely that. Since 2007, players from 72 academies have featured, from the U.S. youth national teams all the way to the full men's national team. And there are plenty of players here on both the RailHawks and FC Golden State who played for the national pool, and we will tell you about that as these games go on. The Capital Area RailHawks are out on the field ready for kickoff in their all-white strips, and they'll be attacking to the left across your screen. Well, FC Golden State, right out of Pomona, just about 60 miles inland from California, making their way out of their final huddle onto the field. And they are in their black and gold strips. So we are getting ready for the first of 138 games here. Plenty of other U-13-14 matches kicking off around me, as we have not only the showcase here in Frisco, Texas, but also the U-15-16 and U-17-18 playoffs as well. Rebecca Friedrich, one more check of the watch, and we're underway here in Frisco, Texas. As Francher gets the ball back to his center back. And right away looking long, as it was a very hot day here. Temperatures hovering in the 90s, but right about 10 minutes before kickoff, some clouds came out, and it started to cool down just a bit. Perfect timing for these games. There's a throw-in on the far side for the RailHawks. And one in midfield. Alexander Castrilli with the throw-in. Drayden dispossessed. Gonzalez is going forward. He wants it, but instead it's going to be played out wide. Here's the chance here early on for FC Golden State, but getting back and doing the defending is Corey Johnson at the expense of the first corner kick of the game for FC Golden State. And it's going to be Jose Rios coming out to take. An 0-2, already a member of the U.S. National Youth System. And it's going to be an outswinger from the far side. Plenty of players lined up across the box. It's played low. And the counter could be on here for the RailHawks. Smartly held up by Rad. On the overlap. And it's played behind. Far side, but the offsides flag is up. Rebecca Friedrich, the woman in the middle tonight. All referees coming from all different parts of the country have reffed in the academy system, and coming to their showcases their reward for how well they've done throughout the season. So this is a huge step up for them. Plenty of them already working in college and professional ranks as well. Third minute is a wayward ball on the far side. It'll be a throw in for the RailHawks. Johnson comes over. Almost dispossessed by Cruz, but he's able to keep possession. That was good hold-up play by Flurant, getting it over to Cruz. The throw-in will go the way of the RailHawks. This showcased the culmination of a 10-month season for these sides. Did a good job by FC Golden State to try and win that ball back in packs, but you see how calm, cool, and collected the RailHawks are under pressure. It's Ron Hill, also a member of the 01 U.S. Youth National Team pool. Sprays it over to the far side. Johnson watches it go over his head, and he's going to have to react as he's being chased down by Quintanilla. And Quintanilla is able to win it. Some space to get forward. Played into the box at a good one-chance opportunity, but it's put over by Quintanilla. It's the most games played and the most starts for Golden State this season, as it was great work over on that far side to win that ball and swing it into the middle, and Quintanilla just couldn't keep it down. So the first chance of the game falls the way of FC Golden State in the 5th minute. And both Jimmy Nordberg for FC Golden State and Paul Forster for the RailHawks really relishing this showcase because it's a chance to test themselves against teams outside of their division. All the games during the season are in their respective divisions. However, in the showcase, play teams from across the academy system. And so it's a really good chance for these kids not only necessarily see a different opponent, but different styles of play and have to figure out different solutions to different problems. As Ron swings this one in, but coming back from an offside position, so even though Gonzalez was in a shooting opportunity off the layoff, it's going to be a free kick for the RailHawks. Capital area, RailHawks CASL out of the Raleigh-Durham area. So they're going to have to take this one again. From their club through their academy, they have 11,000 kids in the CASL system. It's the single largest club from rec to the academy in the United States, CASL. For FC Golden State, this is their 3rd season in their academy. Their 2nd as a full academy. Started out with this 13-14 team, now have 15-16s and 17-18s. And in just their 2nd season as a full academy, their 15-16s are already in the playoffs. So great strides being made in Pomona. Golden State looking to run. Make that the RailHawks. Too tactile for the referee's liking, so it's going to be a free kick in the 7th minute. As you could see, twisting and turning was Justin Stone. And Stone wins the free kick, which is going to be taken by Landon Sloan. So 0-0, still early days here. California and North Carolina clashing in one of the first games of this U-13-14 showcase. And it's a good ball into the box, and coming out to punch was Salinas. So good work by Salinas. Assured goalkeeping, and this time the foul is going to go against the RailHawks as Stone has whistled for it. Hot day, so no real reason to press high. RailHawks doing a very good job to sit back in their shape. FC Golden State doing a good job of moving the ball side to side, looking to open up a little bit of space in those pockets and now to attack. That's a good ball, just unable to catch up to it. On the overlap, though, is Dindrade. And it's going to be a throw-in for the Capital Area RailHawks. Flick on. I'll go the other way. Beautiful one-touch passing from FC Golden State. And it slid through. Gonzalez was looking to get to it. Went past him. Cruz almost found it. And Golden State doing a good job not to allow the RailHawks out. Now they'll try the other side. Searching ball, just unable to find Flurant. Stone dispossessed. We'll go all the way back to Salinas. Ron Hill to bring it forward. Has Dindrade on this near side. Checking back in. Technique and the ball movement so good from these two teams. And Flurant is in, but quickly off his line is Pooley. Good reading of the game from the RailHawks goalkeeper. And now looking to spring the counterattack, but it's stepped in and dislodged by Ron Hill. Dindrade. Gonzalez, diminutive playmaker. Beautiful one-touch passing. And FC Golden State are on the prowl once again. Open up space on the far side. 4 players camped out in the box. RailHawks clear it only as far as Gonzalez. He's going to try an effort. And it's going to sneak in. 1-0 FC Golden State. And the only question to ask is whether that's Gonzalez's goal or whether or not there was a final touch. It's Gonzalez doing the smart thing, putting it back into the danger area, forcing Pulley off his line. And I think he did get a touch. And that is a tremendous goal. Eric Rivero for his 4th goal of the season. And FC Golden State have the lead. All it needed was a little touch with Pulley off his line. And Rivero provided it. Nice ball in from Gonzalez. Playing it right into that area where the keeper had to make a decision whether or not to come off his line. Flicked out for Francher. And the throw-in smartly won by Quintanilla. Dindrade will take. Gonzalez checks and it opens up the space behind him. Cruz is dispossessed. But it's won back by Cruz. Good decision-making to keep the ball. These kids playing with a soccer intelligence well beyond their years, and that's exactly what this development academy system strives to create in these players. And we're seeing it here with some smooth flowing soccer between both sides. Really passing and moving well. So it's 1-0 in the 12th minute off a header from Eric Rivero. And FC Golden State in the lead in this battle of West versus East. But it's the RailHawks on the attack. 3 players streaming forward. And there's an inside route here, and that's a tremendous tackle. Not out of the woods yet, though. And Salinas does well to not allow that to go out for a corner kick. So we take a look at this goal. Gonzalez playing it back in. Perfectly weighted. Rivero outwitted the offsides trap and was able to flick it beyond Pooley into the net for the early 1-0 lead. Ron Hill to bring it forward. He's seeing a lot of the ball in the early going. One back by Abernathy. Push forward to Stone. Stone cuts inside and wins the free kick in a dangerous position for the RailHawks. Chance to perhaps find the equalizer on the set piece in the 14th minute. As Abernathy with a good ball, and just look at this for a little move from Stone, dragging it in between the two defenders. And after that, he had to be brought down. And now Ron Hill and company have some defending to do as Abernathy is going to look to swing in this set piece. Can he put it into that corridor of uncertainty in between the 6 and the 12 where the goalkeeper has to make a decision whether or not to come out and get that ball and stay on his line? And it's driven into the back post. Good ball just beyond the reach. It was Jacob O'Connor, the center back, flying in. And that's usually where center backs find their goals. As driven in at pace, a good trajectory on it. And just a little too far for Jacob O'Connor. As the center backs had joined the party for that free kick. Fluran is chasing, but O'Connor's there. Unable to keep it in bounds, though, and it's going to be FC Golden State's ball. Important interception because Gonzalez was on the prowl, but it's one back, and it's the second goal for Golden State. That's why you pressure up high. It's a 2-0 lead. A great steal and a great finish. It was a good interception, but then just too much time spent on the ball, and it was taken away and finished. Brian Quintanilla stepping up, stabbing that ball away, and then the deft touch beyond Pulley to make it 2-0. Absolutely nothing the goalkeeper could do there. So still plenty of time here for the RailHawks, trailing 2-0 to Golden State. Cruz, good hold-up play. Cleared away before it could get to Gonzalez. Push forward. And not a bad negative ball there because it allows more white jerseys to get into the attack. Francher. Abernathy checks in, but it's come all the way back to Drayden. Abernathy's pass almost picked off by Cruz. A great job by O'Connor to maintain possession for the RailHawks. Drayden. Finley off and running. Looking to go right at Ron Hill. Trying to engineer that half yard of space. Gets the cross off, but it was a great job by D'Andrade to come over and help and cover. D'Andrade doing a great job to get back and double up in the corners. It's exactly what's asked of your winger on the defensive end. D'Andrade over the head of Fluran. Cruz is there. Cruz working on Drayden. Able to get it back. Sprayed over to the far side. Corey Johnson trying to get there. Won't get there in time. And unable to keep it in on the far side. But they're looking dangerous on the counterattack, Golden State. No records compiled as no standings are kept at the U-13-14 age group. Both teams, though, having very impressive seasons, but the emphasis more on player development, finding a trajectory for each player considering what their needs are, rather than team results and winning trophies. So important, especially at this age where players are in different stages of their physical development. And so therefore, technique, really the most important thing, and the age where technique starts to meet tactics. One of the great things about all academy matches, and especially these showcases, is that they are all scouted 100%. Every single match here will have a scout from either the academies or the national teams, and these showcases can drop to 400 to 500 college coaches as well. But really the path to the national team, as Salinas tested from Corey Johnson, in the end, not really able to get the contact on the shot that he desired. Quintanilla, scorer of that second goal for Golden State, checking back with the 2-0 lead. More than happy to just possess that ball around the back and look for their opportunities to go forward. As now they begin to push the pace. Cruz is running. And Cruz let it go as he heard a whistle from the other field. And so he stopped. That's one thing that's always tough when you're playing in a tournament with so many fields in close proximity. You have to really be tuned in to whether that whistle is coming from your field or not. So in the end, a free kick in a dangerous position for Golden State. Can they add on to their lead? Toward that back post, and Pulley skies high to grab it. Foul's called as well. Good goalkeeping from Pulley, though. Good passing out of traffic. Finley in full flight. Pushes it forward. That was a good run, but good defending as well, and it's the first corner kick of the game for the RailHawks. As it was Castrilli going at his defender and stepping into that. And with the first natural stoppage of play after the 20th minute mark, we're going to have a water break here, as it has cooled down, but not enough that the water break regulations are taken away. And good stoppage of play for both teams. And even though it's Golden State with the 2-0 lead, the RailHawks have played very well, impressed with the way that they move the ball forward and play out of traffic. Just got caught on 2 occasions. That's the great thing about this age group in the academy. Every moment is a teaching moment. So even though Paul Forster will be upset that his side has conceded 2 goals, certainly moments that they can learn from and clean up. As every team here in the showcase is guaranteed 3 games. As we take a look at the RailHawks, taking some water and listening to the words of Paul Forster, and we take a look back at the goals, and this one headed out only as far as Gonzalez, and he smartly puts back into the danger area, and Rivero heads it beyond Pulley, who put his hands up like, hey, where's the offside flag? But it never came, and Golden State in the ascendancy with the 1-0 lead. And then Finley trying to dribble out of the back, dispossessed by Quintanilla, and a smart finish beyond the goalkeeper. That was 2-0, but really, the only 2 moments that the RailHawks have let down their guard. Other than that, it's been a very well-played match by both sides, 50-50 in terms of possession and the way they've gone at each other. Have to be really impressed with the poise and control that these young men have with the ball at their feet, especially under pressure, able to play their way out of traffic with minimum fuss. So FC Golden State is back on, getting ready to defend this corner kick as we're midway through the first half at the end of the water break, and the RailHawks out of their final cheer, back out onto the field. No substitutions made as of yet. Each team is allowed 7 substitutions, but only 3 stoppages where they're able to make those substitutions. And then a default 4th one as halftime won't count as one of those 3 stoppages. So 4 opportunities to make substitutions here in the U-13-14 showcase. Salinas directing traffic. Gonzalez commanding that near post. Cameron Abernathy coming all the way across the field to take the corner kick. In-swinger from the far side. Abernathy's corner. Salinas comes out and misses it. And Flurant able to clear it to safety. And chasing it down, but unable to get to it. So we take a look at the corner kick sent in. And it was a good ball from Abernathy. Salinas missed it, but Flurant was right there and then cleared out. Abernathy wins it. And a break could be on here. Salinas lets stay on his line. Good job to come over and cover. Believe that one was Rajan Van Pijsel, the center back who came all the way across from his left center back position to help out there. Abernathy. Francher. Little touch on, looking for Finley, who seems to have a free roll the way he's going from side to side. And this is Ron Hill. Can see why he's a member of the national team pool. Salinas. Ron Hill. Low pressure from the RailHawks. Ron Hill, it's time to pick up a pass. Nkosi Drayden. D'Andrade, beg your pardon. Gonzalez with a velvet touch to bring it down. Cruz gets past one. Fights his way past the second. Cruz could be in here. Takes his shot near post. Pushed away by Pooley. I believe Abernathy did just enough to put him off so that he couldn't pick out the far post. Had to go near, and Pooley had it covered well. Good, strong run from Cruz, though. Have to love that selfishness from your forward. Turned that ball and had only one thing on his mind, and he wins the corner kick to be taken by Gonzalez. Gonzalez was just at the U.S. Youth National Team camp in Florida. That was a good ball served in, but it's headed away by the RailHawks. And Stone very frustrated. He didn't think it was a foul. Would have been off to the races. Golden State will no doubt be happy to hear Rebecca Friedrich's whistle. And it's going to be Rios to send it in. Another player who's in that 0-1 national team pool. Another dangerous ball floated in. Cleared away by Drayden. And now there's space here to run for the RailHawks. Finley is flying up this near side. He's picked out. Finley looking to set himself up onto his left foot. And well positioned was Emilio Salinas. It's a great ball laid off to him, and Finley just needed to sort his feet out, got it onto his left foot, but Salinas was positioned well and able to get that near post. I think he might have been able to pull the trigger a little bit sooner, but still a great job to get that shot off. And it remains 2-0 in the 25th minute, but chances now at both ends. It was a great ball played into him from Rad. A good ball looking for Flurant. He split the center backs. Flurant. And the RailHawks defense do well. Cleared out by Stone. Finley. Pulley showing, but Finley wants to turn toward goal and runs out of real estate. Quintanilla, scorer of that second goal, is going to leave this one off for And Kosi Dindrade. Right back to Quintanilla, who has time. Sprays it all the way over to the far side. And looking for the early ball in. Cleared away by O'Connor before Fluorine could get to it. Golden State's been measuring their build-up, but they've done a great job of picking their times to go at pace. Abernathy. Finley. Stone dispossessed. Quintanilla. Dindrade. Smart not to try and force it forward from Dindrade. And Ron Hill will get it off to his center back partner, Rajan Van Pijsil, who will give his goalkeeper a touch as well in the 27th minute. Golden State stroking the ball around so nicely. Cruz is chasing. Won by Corey Johnson. Gonzalez is over to try and help, but Johnson leaves it off. Abernathy. Gonzalez applying the pressure, and it allows the next pass to be won as it was stepped in, but the RailHawks win it back. Now a chance to go forward with numbers if they want to push this. And Dindrade read it perfectly. Now Dindrade can take this space on the near flank. Tried to get it in early for Fluorine, rather played it behind him, but the idea was there. And working it out of the back is Drayden. Drayden continues his run. Finley elects to take the inside route. Lovely skip past first man. Good ball into the channel for Drayden, but just a bit too much mustard on it, and it goes out. But that was a great build-up from the RailHawks. So Finley and Drayden combining so well here. Wonderful skip inside his defender, and then that right ball into the channel. And getting that weight on it, so crucial, but almost there. And here's Gonzalez. Smashed over to the far side. Johnson. And just running out of space on the far side was Castrilli. It's a good first touch to get by his man. Unable to keep it in on that second touch, though, and the ball will go back to Golden State. As we're on the half-hour mark here in Frisco, Texas, 2-0 in favor of Golden State over the RailHawks. Goals coming in from Rivero and Quintanilla. Five minutes apart in the 10th and 15th minutes. Other than those two moments, though, it's been a very even match. Fluorine wins it over Drayden. All the way back to Pooley. O'Connor asking for options. Excellent checking back. Francher eating up ground. Finley has the step on Ron Hill and got out of bounds before he was able to deliver the cross. It was right into the breadbasket of the keeper. And he's going to put it down and play quickly on the goal kick. Right to Ron Hill at the top of the box. Flurant looking to run. Slaloms by 2. Trying to skip past Drayden. And Drayden shows his strength. Chance here for Golden State to get players forward here, though, via the throw-in. As it was a long knifing run made by that man, Spencer Flurant. Flurant getting past 2, and then Drayden taking up a good angle and using his body well to go shoulder to shoulder and win that ball in safety first. The right move from Drayden there. As Golden State gets played forward, but the RailHawks get players back as well. And Ron Hill looking for that early ball in, but nobody making the run at the top of the box. Only as far as Quintanilla. Lovely interplay from Golden State here. Quintanilla floats it to the back post. Another excellent build-up, but the offsides flag goes up. Flurant to the byline and out of bounds. Goal kick for Pooley. Third minute. First set of matches here in Frisco, Texas. The U.S. Soccer Academy Development Academy Showcase. Excellent turn from Abernathy. Johan Rad. And Johan Rad wins the free kick. As Ron Hill stepped in, he's going to get a tackling too from the referee. Johan Rad's twin brother, Kevarad, is on the bench for the RailHawks. Well, it was a great little layoff and a nice dragging mood, and Ron Hill stepping in knew he was beat. And knew that if the ball got by him, he couldn't let the man behind him as well. So it's a foul he had to commit. And now chance perhaps for a shooting opportunity. It's kind of that in-between distance where you could hit him, but you could also serve this one in. And now they're checking on John Rad because he was holding his head. And so the referee's doing the right thing there, saying if there's any chance that there might be a head injury, they have to check him out, make sure he's okay. So Rad's just going to get checked on real quick. Telling his coach that he's all right. Which any player would do. Rad does seem to be okay. So Rad now has to wait for permission to come back in, so he won't be able to partake in this free kick. Abernathy standing over it. And Abernathy goes for goal. It wasn't far off either. And now Jahan Rad able to get back on. Rad with the right idea, trying to pick out that corner. Wasn't too far off, just couldn't get it to dip in time. As Abernathy slipped as he was about to take that. Some good deception from him, though, because the way everybody was kind of lined up looked like they were going to make run toward the back corner of the sixth. And then Abernathy tried to pick out the near post, perhaps catch the goalkeepers unaware, just unlucky to lose his footing on that occasion. So it's Ron Hill forward in the 35th minute. Last 5+ change of the first half. Reminder to stay with us. Coming up at 4:30 Central Time, 5:30 Eastern. Or excuse me, 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern. It's going to be FC Dallas, the home side, taking on the LA Galaxy. Two teams that had exceptional seasons. And two teams who are lauded for the work that they're doing in their academy systems. Well, we're witnessing a good one here between FC Golden State and the capital area RailHawks CASL. So Rad was dispossessed. Ron Hill will get it back to Salinas. Cruz pops up in the middle. Abernathy. And now Jahan Rad is going to come and stand over this free kick alongside Abernathy. Corey Johnson was whistled for the foul, and Rad standing over this one by himself. Paul Forster had called for Abernathy to stand over the ball as well, but it's just Rad. Rad to test Salinas. Good save. That one was destined for the corner, but Salinas got across his goal quickly and pushed it to safety. Excellent strike from Rad, though, perfectly placed. Rad got over it, got it to dip in time. Salinas read it well, though. So now the corner kick coming from the far side. Inside the final 3 minutes of first half regulation. 40-minute halves played at the 13-14 age group. And it skips across the box, and it's going to go in. The RailHawks have had the deficit in the 38th minute and believe that it's an own goal. D'Andrade got the last touch, but it was the dangerous ball played into the box, and perhaps a flick on as well. Tough to see as we were unsighted from our commentary position. It won't matter. The North Carolina side is back into it. Take a better look here on the replay. Played in and flicked across by Drayden, and then off D'Andrade last, but the center back coming up and getting the job done. And they're going to say that Darden did get the final touch, so I don't think they're going to give it as an own goal. So Darden getting the header on it. And I think even if D'Andrade hadn't gotten a touch, that still might have crept in, so I think it's the right call. As we had stopped our clock during the water break, clock on the field kept running, so they're now saying we are in first half stoppage time. Gonzalez. Can Golden State restore their 2-goal lead before halftime? Cruz. Played away from Rios, but the ball will stay with Golden State. Sun is back out, and the temperature has picked up. And so has the heat on this match, as the RailHawks have just scored a goal from their center back Darden off of a corner kick to bring it back to 2-1, and it's game on here as we are heading toward the end of the first half. Mason Darden coming up from his center back position and heading the corner kick into the far corner. D'Andrade was almost able to clear it out, but it goes into the net in the end. And it halves the deficit. The struggling here is Rajan van Pijsel, the center back. Rajan van Pijsel, seeing the heavy touch, steps up, and I think he was just bowled into. Fair challenge. Both players had every right to go for the ball. But Rajan van Pijsel getting the worst of it. Rios has been active today. And some players coming over to get some water during this stoppage in play. Well, Rajan van Pijsel is being taken a look at as we take a look at the goal to bring the RailHawks back into this game. the ball served in, and pretty much a free header, but he still had it all to do, and it was perfect direction the way he was able to flick it into the far corner. Mason Darden getting the RailHawks back in it. And it sets up what should be a juicy second half as we are on the cusp of halftime here. Just the question as to how much more stoppage time Rebecca Friedrich is going to add. But 2-1 and a very fair scoreline for the way this game has been played. Goals for FC Golden State in the 10th minute from Rivero, and then the 15th minute from Quintanilla. And then in the 39th minute from Darden for the RailHawks. As we stand at 2-1 on the verge of halftime here in Frisco, Texas. In the first of many games we're going to give you here on the U.S. Soccer Development Academy's website, ussoccerda.com, as well as U.S. Soccer's YouTube page. D'Andrade. Ronhill. Rajan van Pijsel. Looking to possess out this first half, FC Golden State. RailHawks just keeping the game in front of them. Ronhill. D'Andrade. Fluorant with the flick on. Bought down by Cruz. Little touch back to Cruz from Gonzalez. Tussle for the ball with Finley, and Cruz comes out the stronger. And D'Andrade will get it back to Rajan van Pijsel, and that is how the first half will end. Excellent first 40 minutes from these two sides. It was all FC Golden State early on the scoreboard as Rivero scored with a beautiful flicked header off of a ball sent back in from Frank Gonzalez. And then Quintanilla, 5 minutes later, dispossessed his defender, walked in and finished off to make it 2-0. But on the cusp of halftime, Mason Darden, the center back for the RailHawks, came up for a corner kick, and he flicked it to the far post to make it 2-1. 40 minutes down and a good 40 minutes coming up between FC Golden State and the capital area RailHawks CASL, and we'll have it for you in a short 15 minutes.
When you choose to play in the Development Academy,
you're striving to become world-class.
World-class talent can be any race, gender, religion, or sexual orientation.
hatred has no place
in the sport we love.
We commit to preserve the integrity of the game.
To respect all coaches, parents, opponents, referees, and fans.
To speak out against all acts of discrimination.
Dentro y fuera de la cancha.
In the Development Academy, we are united against
prejudice,
prejuicio,
unidos contra
hatred,
united against
odio,
united against discrimination,
united against racism,
el racismo,
united against
discriminación,
de los prejuicios.
In the Development Academy, we are united against.
At Midobo, we are united against.
At Empire United, we are united against.
In the Development Academy, we are united against.
Colorado Rush, we are united against.
At the Houston Dynamo, we are united against.
At the Breakers Academy, we are united against.
At Richmond United, we are united against.
At Strikers FC, we are united against.
In the Development Academy, we are united against.
We're getting set for the second half between FC Golden State and the Capital Area RailHawks. FC Golden State with a 2-1 lead. Goals coming in the 10th minute from Rivero, the 15th minute from Quintilla, and then in the 39th minute, just before halftime, Mason Darden pulled the RailHawks back within one. So it looks like we're getting ready to make a double substitution for FC Golden State to start this second half, as Eddie Torres and Eric Celestino are getting set to come in. We are going to have a goalkeeper substitution as well for the Capital Area RailHawks, as Duncan Wagner is going to come in and replace Brandon Pulley. So those will not count toward the 3 stoppages in which substitutions can be made. However, just 6 left for the RailHawks and 5 left for FC Golden State, who are on the ball attacking to the left to start this second half. This Gonzalez will touch this one off to Cruz to get us going. Frank Gonzalez was in the most recent U.S. Youth National Team camp in Florida. Final 40 minutes on day 1 for these two teams here in the U.S. Soccer Development Academy Showcase in Frisco, Texas. The gorgeous facilities here at the Toyota Soccer Center, with the FC Dallas Stadium looming large in the background. And at halftime, we saw a great video as United Soccer Academy united against racism. Big initiative put forth by the U.S. Soccer Development Academy, especially this season. And how potent is that message, especially considering the timing that it's coming in. So our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in Orlando. Rios. Bit higher pressure from the RailHawks to start this second half. And it starts with Atkinson winning the ball back. Darden. O'Connor. Atkinson. And Stone not giving up. And it allows the RailHawks to win the ball back in the offensive end. Coming back to win it is Corey Johnson. And who did hit off of last? And Johnson looks like he might have taken a shot to the gut, although it wasn't anything that was malicious or was intended. Just as both players were going for the ball. Seemed that Johnson was caught by Castrilli. So no malintent here, just 2 players going for the ball, and I don't even think Castrilli might have got him. I think maybe just some incidental contact, or which you certainly hope is that it wasn't anything that happened without any contact. But you can see Corey Johnson wearing the captain's armband, being checked on by the coaching staff. So he tangled with Castrilli, and not sure if there was contact or not that caused it. Just a good fight, and well, as a broadcaster, you never want to speculate or guess what an injury is. So for the moment, Golden State's going to play with 10 men as they decide whether or not Johnson's going to come back in. Throw-in will go the way of the California side. And Johnson bundled over, but now standing back up straight, so you hope that he's okay and can continue in this match. O'Connor wins it back for the RailHawks. Cruz flights it into the center. Celestino with his first involvement. He's dispossessed. Referee Rebecca Friedrich out of the Maryland will call this free kick. Once again, the referees picked for this U.S. Soccer Development Academy showcase based on their performances during the year, as they are constantly assessed by not only the assigners but by refereeing specialists who come and assess their performances, and them being here at the showcase is their reward for the season they have. As good news is Corey Johnson is back on the field and the ball is won in midfield, and a chance for a counterattack for Golden State. Darden is back well and he guides it to his keeper. And Wagner, good distribution under pressure to get it out wide. Abernathy. Salinas. Dindrade. Plays catch with Ronhill. Celestino. Second half sub. Completing that passing triangle. Gonzalez tried to get it forward. Rad. Good overlapping run from Atkinson. Castrilli tried to get it back to Atkinson in the channel. Comes up with the loose ball. And well defended by Eddie Torres, the second substitute that came on at halftime for FC Golden State. Rad. Long searching ball to the far side. Trying to pick out Finley. Finley able to skip around Dindrade. Finley, top of the box, shoots right at Salinas. But positive movement from Finley. And a great job to set himself up for that shot. That's the second time he's gotten away in this game and has stepped into one. But both times his shots have been driven right at Salinas. Torres, great ball into the space for Rios. Atkinson over and cover well. Castrilli chases it down. And it was an important touch from Torres. Otherwise, Stone might have been away. Stone could still be away here. Has the step. Drags it back. And couldn't beat Quintanilla in the end, who does just enough to get it out of bounds for a goal kick. Two to one here in the end of the season showcase event in Frisco, Texas. 92 of the 96 academy clubs being represented with their U-13, U-14 teams. A free kick and a shooting position for the RailHawks, and we've seen them be very dangerous from here. This is Abernathy who's causing problems once again. Abernathy playing alongside Rad as one of those two holding midfielders. A correction, playing alongside Sloan. But it seems that Sloan will stay back and do a bit more of the dirty work, while Abernathy has a bit more freedom to go forward. And he's won another free kick. And this one smashed well, but over the goal. So 3 free kick opportunities. 2 of them hit well, but sent over. And the other one saved by Salinas. They've certainly shown that if they continue to get those kind of opportunities, they will eventually put one of those away, the RailHawks. Corey Johnson, good to see him back out there. Hint of a handball perhaps, but the referee allows play to go on. Getting forward is Atkinson. Rad. Finley. Tremendous strike. We're level. Correction, it was Abernathy. Take a look at this replay. A strike worth watching over and over and over again. Stone with a little layoff. Abernathy did so well to sort his feet out and then arrowed it toward the upper corner.
Goal scored in the 49th minute by the Capital Area RailHawks CASL, Cameron Abernathy.
What a goal that was from Abernathy. Can't hit it any cleaner than that, and absolutely nothing Salinas could do. And from 2-0 down, the RailHawks have clawed their way back into this one. Goals on either side of halftime, and it's a brand new ball game here. Cruz looking for the instant response. Unable to direct his cross. Rad did so well to pick his head up and find Abernathy, but he still had it all to do. Got it out from under his feet and then just stepped into it. Thunderous drive into the upper corner. A special strike from a special player in Abernathy. And this is Abernathy popping up all over the field. Long ball looking ahead for Rad. I'll make that Stone, but Salinas is going to usher this one out of bounds for a goal kick. He's done a lot of running up top, Justin Stone. 18 goals in 23 games for Stone. Certainly setting the South Atlantic Division alight this season. Atkinson. Once again, the passing from both of these sides so impressive. As this one too far for Castrilli, and Rios will come over to take the throw-in. Reminder that coming up after this one, with a 6:30 Central start time, it will be FC Dallas taking on the LA Galaxy. Rad. Francher jumping into the attack. Out wide for Finley. Finley finds space. Hint of a handball, and the referee is going to let play go on. Oh, we've seen those given, especially in the Copa America and the Euros. The hand was out, but I guess the referee's saying it was in an unnatural position. So forlorn look on the face of a player who thought he should have had a penalty in Stone. Nevertheless, it remains 2-2. So this one comes back to Wagner. This time the referee does blow her whistle. So we'll take another look at whether or not that was a handball. Finley making inroads once again around the outside, and the hand was out. It would have been a harsh decision, but some would say it would have been the correct decision. Once again, though, in the end, the scoreline isn't really what matters. As it's more about the passing, the movement, the technique of each of these players and how they're developing individually. Of course, you asked them that and probably their coaches in the heat of the game, and they're going to say they want the scoreline to end in their favor, but entire bench is up for the RailHawks warming up. So far, have only changed their goalkeeper at halftime, so 6 more substitutions left for them. And they're allowed to stop the game 3 times to make those subs. Golden State brought on 2 players in Celestino and Torres at halftime, so they have 5 substitutions left and 3 possible stoppages. Ron Hill shielding this one out of bounds before Finley can get to it. Golden State are preparing another substitution. See one player getting stripped for action. Could be a second or a third as well. Have to make your substitutions in bunches here. As Salinas over to this near side. Over the head of Rios, unable to keep it in. Atkinson's throwing. Stone trying to shield, but Johnson wins it. And Cruz wants to run. Has only Fluran ahead of him. And Cruz smartly turns away from the pressure and leaves it off for Gonzalez. He will always bring other players into the game. And he does here in Celestino. Try to poke it back out wide for Johnson, who just can't catch up to it in time. Johnson. Finley overtakes for the RailHawks. Dances away from Dindrade. Atkinson getting involved in the attack. Long early ball, but not guided correctly, and it's going to go out of bounds for a goal kick. The idea was there, the early cross, looking for the likes of Stone in the box and Abernathy coming in underneath. In the end, just didn't hit it the way he wanted to. Was unable to get his foot around that ball to swing it in and ended up slicing underneath it. That's why it went out for a goal kick for Salinas. Absolutely nothing he could do on the goal from Abernathy. As we're going to have a triple substitution for Golden State and a single for the RailHawks. Cleared away by O'Connor. Dindrade does enough to get it away from Finley. And here come the substitutions. Malcolm McIntosh is going to check in for the RailHawks. Gonzalez, Dindrade make their way out along with Flurant. Well, Francher comes out for the RailHawks. Great game down the wing for Francher. Piscino, number 54, comes in for Golden State. Along with Liam Gherkin. And one more player as well. We'll get that number for you in a second. So we'll see how these subs change the complexion of the game. So this is Torres. Came on at the beginning of the second half. 5 of the possible 7 substitutions made for FC Golden State. They were trying to chisel their way down the far flank, but ran out of room. And the throne will go the way of the RailHawks. 59th minute, 2-2 between FC Golden State and the the Capital Area RailHawks. CASL from North Carolina. Gherkin with his first touch. Continued his run. Doesn't get to it in time, but it will be a throw-in for Golden State in the 59th minute. Finley getting the job done on the defensive end. Played behind Castrilli. Rios. I think Celestino was trying to flick that on. Abernathy dragged down. And so I believe the referee wants to have a word with the guilty party. And a yellow card will be shown. So right on the hour mark, a yellow card, the first of the game. And it goes to FC Golden State. Is Abernathy getting set to check inside, and it was Travis Piscino who just came into the game, who becomes the first player to go into Rebecca Frigger's book. That's a good ball in. Darden's up again. And Darden wins the corner kick. And the first natural stoppage after the hour mark, after 20 minutes through this second half, means a water break. So water break on the field, a water break here in the booth. We're heading toward a grandstand finale in these final 20 minutes between FC Golden State and the capital area RailHawks CASL. 2-2. Water break in final 20 minutes right after this. Corner kick for the RailHawks to get us back underway. Final 20 minutes here in game number 1 of the showcase for the U-13-14s. It's going to be Abernathy to take. Darden has shown that he's caused problems on these set pieces, but this one comes in low, was looking for the flick on, and it will go out for a goal kick. And now here comes a triple substitution for the RailHawks. Castrilli, Abernathy, who scored that absolute belter, coming out. As is Justin Stone, who had an excellent game as the target man up top. Unable to find the net, but certainly helped the RailHawks keep the ball and bring more players into the attack as that target forward. Rad and Lane checking in. Wagner. The RailHawks hit the reset button in the 65th minute. Sprayed across by McIntosh. One back by Celestino. Still going Celestino. Trying to put Darden under pressure. Ball clipped perfectly to Atkinson, but Rio steps in well. Quintanilla, scorer of that second goal for FC Golden State. Skips all the way through to Wagner. Great job by Atkinson to check inside. And smart to get it back to McIntosh. Wagner. RailHawks have really grown into this game after going down 2-0 inside the first 15 minutes. You love the poise in these 13 and 14-year-olds. Not letting the scoreline get them down. They continue to play their game, pass the ball around, keep their shape, and have quietly clawed their way back to 2-2. Although there was nothing quiet about that second goal from Abernathy. Johnson was outside before he was able to play that forward for Cruz. Was a nice flick on Celestino. A deft touch, but the ball had already been out. Behind the benches, FC Dallas making their way back out. Set for a 6:30 p.m. kickoff against the LA Galaxy, and we'll have that match for you right here on USSoccerDA.com and on US Soccer's YouTube page as well. Finley. Another dangerous run from Finley, earning another corner kick for the RailHawks. Have already made one set piece count with that corner kick goal from Darden. And with Abernathy out now, it's going to be Rad who will take the set pieces. This in the form of Jahan Rad, whose twin brother Keva is now out there as well. Played in near. So close to the go-ahead goal for the RailHawks. And it was almost the twin connection. Jahan Rad's service, and Keverhad was there and flashed his header just wide. Final two substitutions of the day made by FC Golden State. About 12 minutes to impose their will for these substitutions on this game. As Mario Calderon comes in, as does Favero. Favero and Calderon both making their 21st appearance of the season. Is coming up next. Golden State will play Richmond United tomorrow, and then we'll have a day off before facing off against Tampa Bay United. So 3 games here for every team at the showcase. Want to end the season on a high note. The end of a 10-month season for these teams. Then a chance to refresh their legs. And for some of these players looking to move up the age group. Jahan Rad. Atkinson. Heavy touch lets him down in the end. And Favero wins the throw-in for Golden State. Final 10 minutes plus change here on field 4. The gorgeous Toyota Soccer Center here in Frisco, Texas. Just beyond the reach of Rios and out of bounds. As there are the 11 men who will finish the game for Golden State. They've used up their 7 substitutions. McIntosh put under a bit of duress. Push forward by Calderon. Service sent in by Cruz. Arrieta plays it to the far side. It still might be on here for Golden State. That's an important block. Flicked on, Celestino's in. Goes to ground. Referee not interested. Kevarad. Burnett. A nice touch, a little change of pace. Burnett, top of the box. Has it poked away from him. Finley dispossessed. Arrieta. The free kick's going to go against him. Quickly taken by the RailHawks. Finley on the prowl again in the 72nd minute. Cuts in, shoots. Easy for Salinas in the end, but it's Finley creating the chance for himself. So dangerous off the dribble, Finley. Salinas' positioning has been spot on all night, though. A lot of times saves look a lot easier than they really are because the goalkeeper's done the work beforehand. Quintanilla. Giving it right to Jahan. Jahan Rad was unable to play it through. Spinning, trying to find his way through. Brunette dispossessed. Cruz. Quintanilla flying forward. Notice that these players for Capital Area, RailHawks, CASL, and FC Golden State are wearing jerseys in the 50s, 60s, and even 70s. And the reason that's done is so that if these players or the coaches want to move their players up to play with the older age groups, they don't have to give them a new jersey. So the older teams will have like the U-17, 18s will get like 1 through 25, and then 25 through, say, 50 will go to the 15, 16s. And that's why the 13, 14s are wearing such high numbers, so that if they're pushed up into the next age group, they don't have to change anything in terms of jersey or registration. Something you'll see with some clubs, not all of them. Now there's going to be a talking to for Celestino. Really just being given the 10 yards. Jahanrad standing over it. Flighted to the top of the box. Salinas comes off his line. Has full command of his box. Rolled out wide for Rangel. Inside the final 5.5 minutes of regulation. Space for Atkinson to take. He's got Cave Rad out wide. Tried to go at it alone. Poked away from him. Jahanrad had his twin brother outside. Elected not to play to him. And Celestino whistled for the foul. And this is where Darden can be dangerous. As Rad and Celestino needs to realize that there's a defender in front of Rad so he doesn't have to make that challenge. Part of the learning process. And with Abernathy out, it's Jahanrad who's been over these set pieces. Will look to swing this one to the far post. Has to get the right trajectory on the ball and keep it away from Salinas. They've had the batter of the area battles, the RailHawks. It's in. Darden's up. Skipped off the top of his head. Played back in. Cleared away by Celestino. Slipped over to Jahanrad. Good diagonal run to his twin brother. Cave. Cross blocked at the near post. Cruz. Able to push it forward before Atkinson could get on the end of it. But Omar Arieta is in an offside position. Can either side grab a winner? Atkinson leaves it off for McIntosh. And even with the game on the line, Paul Forster urging his team to play the ball along the ground. Have to love that. So many teams would have just thumped it forward. He'd rather see his side try and play and find a way through with the ball on the floor. And they find the solution. And it's opened up a gap for Atkinson to attack. Quickly closed. And now it's Cruz's turn to go forward. Slid through for Celestino. Touch to put himself on the other side of his defender. He's in. And out to smother the ball is Wagner. Goalkeeper quickly off his line. And the chance for Celestino thwarted. But what a touch to put himself off and running. Cave unable to chase it down in the end as it was played behind him. Cruz. Lane. Finley. Not this time. Salinas pushes it. Corner kick. And Salinas scrambling across his goal there. Good shot came in. It was knuckling, and Salinas doing the right thing, getting it around his post rather than giving up a juicy rebound. But a great job to step up and get that shot in from Dylan Lane. Another ball straight in, this time toward the top of the box. Golden State able to deal with it. Atkinson has McIntosh. Oh, and McIntosh has lost the ball. It's a 2-on-1 going the other way. Played through for Celestino. Has to track it down. Taken out wide a bit. Has played inside for Liam Gerken. McIntosh over in cover. Headed only as forward as Rad. Has Lane and Finley ahead of him. Jahan Rad spins in the center circle. Atkinson overlaps Kave Rad. Rad into the channel. Burnett chasing it down before it goes out of bounds. Burnett unable to get to it in time. As we are on the cusp of full time here. Be interesting to see how much stoppage time will be added on. Can either side steal a winner in what has been an excellent match between FC Golden State and Capital Area RailHawks CASL?
The referee has added a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time to the end of the game.
4 minutes of stoppage time. That's plenty for a winner. And it's Golden State looking to get it on the counter, and they'll get a corner kick out of it. Another buccaneering run down that far side. And Omar Arrieta will come over to take the corner kick. Quickly taken. Push forward to set up the cross. Rolled along the ground. Oh, and trying to dribble out again. That's how they got in trouble on the second goal they gave up the RailHawks. And the shot comes in. Flicked across by Cruz. Back post. Save Wagner. Cruz puts it wide, but it wouldn't have mattered as the offsides flag is up. Ball given away at the top of the box. Hit at Celestino. And then Celestino's shot pushed to Cruz, but Cruz was in an offside position. Now the referee, Rebecca Frager, coming over to speak to her assistant on the far side. This Wagner just holding on to the ball. Not sure what this is about. So we'll see whether Frigger takes any action here or just tells Wagner to play on. And she's just going to say, let's get on with it. Two minutes of the minimum of 4 have passed here in stoppage time. Flicked on by Jahan Rad, looking for Burnett. Cruz. Atkinson, tigerish in the tackle. And it will be a throw in for the RailHawks. We're down 2-0, came back to make it 2-2. Goals on either side of halftime from Darden and Abernathy to bring it back. After Rivero and Quintanilla had made it 2 inside the space of 5 minutes. In the 10th and 15th minute, and FC Golden State looked to be off and running. But the RailHawks are able to get themselves back into this match, and now each team looking for a last gasp winner. Salinas. McIntosh away. Push forward by Lane. And headed out. Atkinson takes it quickly. Tells Lane to turn. Flicks it over to Kave Rad. Back to Lane. Lane tried to stab it through for Burnett. And a foul. Get out of jail free card for FC Golden State. Final 20 seconds of the minimum 4 minutes of stoppage time. Perhaps one last roll of the dice for the California side. Snuffed out in midfield by the RailHawks. Atkinson smashes it forward. Lane pushes it on. And Rangel definitely flicks it back to his keeper. Giveaway in the back. Burnett slides it through. Cave Rad off the post. And that will do it. Inches away from winning the game, Cave Rad. So unlucky to see his shot off the post. Little ball through from Burnett. The two substitutes almost combining. And Salinas getting an important touch, pushing that one onto his post and preserving the 2-2 draw between FC Golden State and the Capital Area RailHawks CASL. Tremendous match between Jimmy Nordberg and Paul Forster's side. As the first of the featured games gets off to a rousing start, Rivero gave FC Golden State a 1-0 lead on 10 minutes with a header, and then Quintanilla stole the ball, walked through the back line, and poked it over the keeper to make it 2-0 just 5 minutes later. But either side of halftime, Darden scoring off a corner kick to bring the RailHawks back into it, and then Abernathy, already a contender for goal of the tournament, smashing the ball in from the top of the box to make it 2-2, and that is how we finish here in Game 1. Game 2 coming up at 6:30 Central, and just like this one, it's going to be a good one. It's FC Dallas against the LA Galaxy, but for now, I'm Mark Serber, signing off from Game 1 of 3 tonight here in Frisco, Texas, as it finishes FC Golden State 2, Capital Area RailHawks CASL 2.
Test.